I had so much fun 2 weekends ago. So I went to Make Smith Leather and I took his tote making class. And you guys know I've kind of been wanting to dip my toe in the pool of leather making. I am not a crafty person. I'm not good with a sewing machine. And I was able to make this. This is my tote. I made this tote. So I will forever love and cherish this tote forever and ever because I made it. And it's just perfect. I actually am really excited about the dimensions of this bag. A lot of times I have, you guys know I might have 1 or 2 totes. I have a lot of totes. But I've really taken to carrying this bag because when I carry it, it's like a right size tote. I don't need to carry a lunch purse. Like, it's completely fine to take it out during lunch, take it to coffee, take it to meetings, because it's not this overwhelmingly large tote where I need to carry something smaller and more compact when I'm going to come out for lunch. So this tote, it's amazing. So this is going to be kind of a long video, so I'm not going to apologize, but it's a long video. I hope you like it, because I'm not going to talk about just the quality of Make Smith and the fact that he's American made and that he's doing everything by hand, but I'm going to talk about the process of leather making and how I made this bag. If you're not crafty, don't be intimidated. If you're in the Santa Barbara area, you've got to take this guy's class. It is so much fun. I don't remember the last time I had that much fun. So I'm going to do this sort of a traditional way, which is review the bag, and then once it's empty, I'm going to talk about sort of the process of the making and Steven's process and what it's like to make your own tote if you've never worked with leather. So I have it stuffed pretty full because I think I'm going to go out down to the beach and squeeze the last little bit of sunlight out of this day. So I have in here, this is my Patagonia Magic Jacket because it's super crazy thick. It's down, but it shoves into itself and it zips and it becomes a really small, compact thing that I can carry. Keeps me super warm. So I have that in there. I have this in there, which you guys might recognize. It's a wine tote, but it's so tiny, and here's why. It fits a regular size wine bottle, by the way, but I was like, this has been a interesting last couple of months for us personally. And so sort of a lot of things in our lives have sort of come into fruition that we've been sort of waiting on and working for. And so I thought, oh my gosh, what if we went down to the beach and had like a little champagne? So it's a tiny little champagne. And I tucked it into this full-size wine holder. So I have that in there. And then I have this really beautiful notebook from Tactile Craftworks. That's an old city map of Los Angeles. So I have this just to record some thoughts and things of that nature. And then the rest of it is just sort of like odds and ends, kind of the stuff that I always carry with me. The wallet I never ever open. My essentials, it's like Band-Aids, aspirin, Dayquil, whatever. I have eye drops. I don't know if this weather's been crazy for you, but it's been making my eyes red. And then I have sunglasses. The wallet I actually use, and then keys. So the keys, I have it on my fish hook, and I normally hook it on the inside of the bag and just hook it to the pocket, and it works out great. I was lazy today, I just threw it in there. And then he has, I'll swing it around so you can see it like this. Hopefully you can see that. He has a pocket, which is a flap of leather sewn to the bag, and then a second flap of leather sewn to the bag. So the initial pocket is pretty big, works great for a phone. There's still extra room. Can I fit my keys? Yeah, you can also fit your keys in the big pocket. In the front pocket I have 2 mints. I wonder if I could fit my phone in there. Oh, so the second small pocket you could actually fit your phone in there also. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. It sticks out a little, but I might do that because it frees up the big pocket. And that's it. So it's a fairly straightforward tote. Here's what I love about it. First of all, it stands up on its own empty, so that's really nice. And it's not stiff. It has just enough structure, but it's also floppy that I'm going to show you. I think this is why it's just so comfortable to walk around with. Like, the drop is perfect. I didn't even customize the drop. This is just like his standard issue drop, and I like it. The bag, it doesn't extend past my sort of curved hand, which you guys know that I like. And it's just kind of, it's just floppy enough. I wear it a lot of times sort of like to the back like this when I'm walking around, and it's just perfectly comfortable. That's what it sort of looks like when it's back like that. Or if I'm like in a store, I'll keep it like this. And my phone, sometimes I don't put the phone in the pocket. I usually have enough junk in there that I can put it here and it's resting on whatever right there, and then I can kind of easily pull it out. It's just an easy carry. It's like the only tote I have where I don't need to carry a lunch purse. So that's what I like about the bag. I like it's just stiff enough to stand. It's still floppy to mold to you and be comfortable for a long carry. I like the drop. I like the super thick leather. I have this thing. So I'm going to tell you guys how thick this is. This is 3.8 milliliters. This strap is very thick. It's so thick, I cannot put my key fob on it. So it's very thick. The bag is, how can I best do this? Let's do it like this. It's 1.9 millimeters thick. And can I put this on there? Yes, just barely. So it's just thick enough if you wanted to hang your, actually that looks really nice together, this sort of copper tone and the thing. So if you wanted to hang your key off the bag with a fish hook, you could do that. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about me making this bag. I don't have any black totes, and I think I don't, but you guys let me know if I've forgotten about one of my bags, because you guys know my inventory better than I do. And so when you go to take this class, you have your choice of black, brown, or natural. And I thought, I'm going to do black because I don't have any black totes. And I thought, but I don't really, here's what the leather side looks like. It's sort of like this matte black. It's full grain leather. And I was like, I kind of want this rich, like dark black. And so I made my bag suede side out. And Steven was like, yeah, if you want to go suede side out, go for it. I don't know, like, if it's going to require sort of like a little bit more babying, but I'm going to do a little bit of a video on that later about how I'm going to treat the outside of my bag. But I just liked the feel of the suede, the richness of it, and how like it was this deep black as opposed to this one, which is sort of more this this matted black if I had done the leather side out. So that's what I chose, and you have to choose your color before you come to the class because he's going to have a big piece of hide for you. And the way that the class works is, so I say I want black, he brings out this huge, it's not huge, it's not like the full cow or anything, but it's pretty big, much larger than you would need to make the tote. And you kind of sit with your hide and he talks to you about sort of the history of leather. He gives you an education on how the cuts of the cow, what make good belts, what doesn't make a good belt, why does some leather stretch, what do you want in your leather, what do you want to see, what's appropriate leather for the handles. You get this whole history and education on leather. And the takeaway from that part, which was so fun, which was probably like 45 minutes to an hour, is just that you're watching somebody do what he was meant to do. Like, he sincerely loves his craft and he's very, very good at it. And so it's an honor, and it's so fun to watch somebody talk about something that they're passionate about. So he spends like 45 minutes to an hour doing that, and he gives you this really nice handout, and it kind of just shows you leather suppliers in the area where you could go if you want to get started. And then after that, you're sort of ready. So you take your giant piece of hide, and he doesn't cut it for you. So you do that, and he has this, I thought the pattern was going to be really complicated, but it was pretty straightforward. I guess in my mind, I thought it would have like cutouts, but it's really just a rectangle. So you lay it down, and he lets you practice with a roto cutter, which is essentially like, it looks like a pizza cutter, and you practice cutting scraps of leather, and then you just keep practicing and practicing until you can make like good, strong cuts. The thing that was surprising for me was like the extreme pressure that I had to exert to cut the leather. So I would literally like, and also I'm short, right? So the table's a little high for me. So I'd literally, when I went to cut the leather, I'd have to like get on my tippy toes, smush it down, and press for like all I'm worth with that pizza cutter to get through the leather. Because ideally you want to cut it just the one time so you get a clean, sharp cut, and you don't want to go over it several times. So it was a little scary, but so the first thing you do is you cut out this giant rectangle, and it's cool. Steven was nice enough to let us keep the scraps, which were plentiful, so hopefully I'll make something with the scrap. And then you work with this giant piece, and then to make, and I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'll put some stills at the end. Then you lay out your giant rectangle, and you take this, I think it's called like an awl cutter, AWL or something like that. I could be totally wrong. And it has like 4 prongs sort of to make the holes, and you take a little hammer and you go all the way down your bag, and then oh, I forgot a step. Before you do that, you fold the bag in half and you true up all the edges. It doesn't matter so much if the sides are trued up, but you want this exposed edge to be as clean as possible. And when I saw people truing it up, I thought, dang, that looks a little difficult, because you got to get it just right. So if I make a tote again, I'm just going to try so hard to make the cut so straight, so I hopefully don't have to true it up, because that seemed a little complex. But anyway, so after you do that, you sort of make those holes all the way down the side. And the stitching was really easy, so you don't have to be a seamstress at all. We just took a giant lacing thread, and I used, I think it was called sinew. It's like literally like the back of the leather, and it's all sort of like those tendons and ligaments, and I guess they make really good strong thread. If you watch Life Below Zero, you see the woman that's an Eskimo. She literally like catches a seal, eats the meat, makes a coat out of it, and you see her make thread from the sinew of the seal. She kind of goes like this. Anyways, ours was store-bought, but the concept remains. It's extremely strong thread to make your bag with. And so all you do is you just go in and out, and you thread these holes all the way up your bag as tight as you possibly can. And then your bag's like 90% there. Here's what you don't do. So you don't cut the straps. Steven has these cut for you. And I sort of appreciate that he did, because I think if your bag was going to look sort of like homemade versus professional, where that was going to happen was probably going to be on the strap. So Steven does that for you, and it's kind of cool because that way you get to pick from like the straps that he has, and the colors and the thickness and kind of what you wanted. I like these ones because they were dark. I thought they were a nice complement against the black, and they were really thick, and I liked how the edges were burnished. But he has a variety of them. So you don't cut the straps, he cuts them for you. The other thing you don't do is you don't cut the pocket, and you don't sew it on. The pockets are already made for you, and then Steven will hand stitch the pockets on for you. But you do punch the holes for your strap, and you do hammer in the rivets. And I love that he does this, and I think if I made a bag, I would do the same, that he puts these leather washers on for strength, and I think it also protects the leather when you go to hammer the rivet in. Hammering the rivet in is not as easy as it looks. It's not complicated, but you want to hammer just enough so that the leather, so that the rivet is tight and in the leather, but not so much that you're denting the leather and it's depressed, like you hit it too hard. So that was kind of one of the finer things that I think I had to pay more attention to. And then the last thing is, and I don't even know if you're going to be able to see this, the last thing that you do is so now what you have is a bag that's just turned inside out, and he takes, I don't know if you can see it, I'll put a still, but basically to give your bag depth, right, so it's not just folded in half, he marks off a 2-inch triangle, and then he machine sews that. And what that does is it gives you this distance here. I think I could hand stitch that portion, but I appreciate that he machine stitched it, both for time and just in case I wasn't that good at it, because like I said, I'm like definitely not a seamstress. Sewing is not my thing. But I'm so happy with this bag. Like, I showed it to my girlfriends, and they're like, I can't believe that you even like cut and sewed that. So I think Steven teaches, he teaches in this way that really feels like a conversation. It's not like you in a lecture, it's like a conversation about leather. Somebody's showing you and you're shadowing them do their craft. I cannot recommend this class enough. I cannot recommend this maker enough. If you have a chance, make your own tote. Take the class from Steven. You will never have like 4 hours that are more fun than that. And it feels good. It feels good to support somebody that supports the community. He's in Santa Barbara, so Southern California, and he has a bunch of classes. I think it's like tote making, sandal making that he collaborates with a woman on, and then I think he has like axe making. So there's kind of a variety of things, and I think it's a really unique offering. I haven't come across something like that before, but I'm just really proud of this tote. I want to show it to you guys one more time. I just love it. And it's just an easy, lightweight carry. I normally don't do totes on the weekend, but this tote, I do it on the weekend because it's so lightweight and fun. I love the suede side out. And I'm going to do a couple of suede testers on some scraps, and then I'm going to treat the outside so that it requires, I think, a little bit of handling and care more than when the leather side's out. but I think it's a good trade-off because I really like the way it feels, and I like sort of the rich blackness of the suede. So this is probably the world's longest review for a tote, but I just had to tell you that I had so much fun. I'm going to go out with Steven's list, and I'm going to buy myself a set and try and my hand at making things. I think the best part about it was that he never made you feel like, oh my gosh, don't screw it up. Every step he would say like, if you don't cut straight, we'll fix it. We'll do this. We'll do this. He had like a workaround for everything, and it sort of just took the pressure off and made the class just pure fun. So thank you so much to Steven at Makesmith in Santa Barbara. This is my tote that I made. I'm so excited. If you have any questions, drop me a line. Let me know. If you're in Southern California, don't miss out on his class. Thank you so much for watching.